And we're on the air. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the show that my partner does rainbow stunt doubles. This is the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters. It's right here. I am Mike Galetta, a.k.a. Hamilton Mike, along with my partner, Brian, the Ranger Retard. Brian?
Can't ban these guns right here.
Whoa, easy. Settle down. Put the headband on you. Today we are in a quest again for our 32 NFL teams. We will head off to Ohio to talk to a man we've talked to last year who gets into football and knows his team and lives in the area. Let's talk to him now. His name is Michael Henshaw. Michael, welcome to the show.
Yeah. How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me back.
Mike, you know, it's tough to find Cleveland fans, so we'd love to have you on the show. But you do a hell of a job of it, pal. So let's talk Cleveland. Brian Scabby, let's talk Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns. Listen, next time you're playing trivia at DJ Mike Velarde's in Sicklerville at Applebee's every Wednesday night, if he were to ask you who was the one team the Browns beat last year, just so you know, it was the San Diego Chargers, and they were so embarrassed by that they moved to LA. The Browns 1-15 last year, last place in the AFC North, obviously did not make the playoffs. 28th through the air, 19th on the ground, 30th overall offensively. Quarterback was a mess for this team. Cody Kessler, Josh McCown, RG3. You ever see that guy with the jersey with all the names of the quarterbacks? He got a couple more names added. Nobody was very good last year throwing the ball. They had 14 total touchdowns. Isaiah Crowell, a nice year on the ground, 952 yards, 7 touchdowns. Leading receiver was a converted quarterback, Terrelle Pryor, over 1,000 yards, 77 catches, 4 touchdowns. He went to our nation's capital, played for the Redskins.
They do have Cody Parkey.
They do have Cody Parkey. So, you know, defensively, 21st against the pass, 31st against the run, 31st overall. So, not a lot of bright spots for this team. And as a result, they ended up with the #1 overall pick. They ended up taking Myles Garrett, defensive end out of Texas A&M. They also had 2 more first-round picks. Jabrill Peppers, 25th out of Michigan, and David Njoku, tight end, 29th out of Miami. And to add another quarterback to that list, his second-round pick was DeShone Kizer, quarterback out of Notre Dame.
Yep.
So, Mike, I'm not going to talk too much about last year because something tells me you kind of want to forget about it. Would that be fair?
Yeah, we'd like to forget about it. But,
fair enough.
Growing pains.
Yes, absolutely. I want to talk about these 3 first-round picks because, you know, I found myself the night of the draft, on social media saying the Browns are winning this draft, and they absolutely did. 3 first-round picks, nobody more of a big name than Myles Garrett, the defensive end out of Texas A&M with the #1 overall pick. Was this who you thought they were going to get to, and how excited are you to have them?
I'm very excited. We definitely need pass rush. That's the #1 thing on the defense. They just lack pass rush. They can't get to the passer. The defense backs are decent, the linebackers are decent. We just couldn't get any pass rush. So hopefully he can help us out there.
Sorry, I'm a little slow here with the thing. Talking about the offense, the crowded offensive quarterback field that they have again this year for the Cleveland Browns. Talk about Brock Osweiler going there in a trade. The rumor was originally that Brock Osweiler was going away, that they were going to go in a different path, but he's still there. So, do you think he could be the starter day one, or is Cleveland going to do the shuffle again and have somebody else in there?
I don't think he'll be the starter. I think they're going to go with Cody, and I think the rookie will end up being the starter probably around week 6 or 7. So they're going to see what they have in them, but my fingers are crossed that the Kirk Cousins just does not get doesn't get the tags once again out in Washington, and he comes over for next year.
Right.
You take a look at their receiving core. A guy who I know has got to get you excited is Corey Coleman. Now, he missed some time last year. He only played in 10 games, but he played pretty well when he was there. Ended up with 3 touchdowns. Do you think that he's going to... Now, again, they lost Pryor to Washington. I'm not really sure why they didn't try to sign him. It is what it is. Is Coleman the #1 here, or are we going to see somebody else there?
He's the #2. They got
Kenny Britt.
The Rams. They picked up
Kenny Britt.
They picked up the Rutgers boy, Kenny Britt. Yep, and he did pretty good with nothing in LA. I think he had over 1,000 yards and like 5 touchdowns. So I'm expecting pretty much a similar thing, similar season out of him with no quarterback here in Cleveland.
We talk about this line for Cleveland. They brought in J.C. Tretter from Green Bay and Kevin Zittler from Cincinnati. The aging Joe Thomas at the left tackle, still solid at that position. Joel Bottino, still okay at the left guard position. And DeShone Coleman at the right tackle. Do you see anything with this offensive line they need to upgrade it now, or are there other pressing needs on this Cleveland team?
No, yeah, I think the offensive line is the strongest part of the team right now. I think they're probably one of the best units in the NFL. So I'm expecting big things out of Isaiah Crowell and Duke Johnson.
You mentioned Duke Johnson. Now, that's a guy in fantasy circles last year that was a bit of a darling. I think people thought, there's your next pass-catching running back. He didn't really have that great of a season for the Browns last year. Is this Crowell's job? I mean, is it something that
I think it's Crowell's job to lose, really. I think they're just going to stick with him. And I'd like to see more of Duke Johnson as well. I think he's he's got the speed, the breakaway speed. He's a game changer. But Crowell's their bell cow for some reason, and I think they're going to stick with him.
We talk about the punt return and the special teams of this team, and it was something big with losing Pryor to Washington. Coming back there now on punts is going to be Duke Johnson, and kick return is going to be Jabrill Peppers. How do you feel about those two guys back there doing the hard man's work for the kick and punt return?
I think it'll work out nice. Like I said, Duke Johnson's got that breakaway speed where he can actually take a couple to the house quickly, help out the offense, get a couple points on the board. Last year it was tough. I don't know if you guys remember. I said if RG3 stays healthy and Josh Gordon comes back and actually has his head on straight, we have a chance to win some games. RG3 got hurt week 2, and Josh Gordon's head is definitely not on straight.
That's right. Yeah. So you take a look at, obviously, for me, as a Browns fan, I think that you're a little less concerned about what the team does this year as to where they're going. I mean, again, 2 first-round picks next year, 3 second-round picks next year. They've done a very, very nice job of accumulating picks.
Exactly, yeah.
But what
definitely stockpiling picks. There's a young team, and they're definitely turning over that roster.
There's obviously some regret, especially around these parts, as to did the Browns make a mistake.
I'm definitely excited to see where they're going.
Yeah, there's some thought. Did the Browns make a mistake not taking Carson Wentz? I guess my question for you is, whether it's Kizer, whether it's Kessler, whether it's Osweiler, whether it's somebody else, do you think that the Browns' long-term answer at quarterback is currently on the roster, or fast forward this thing 10 months to the draft next year, are we looking at the Browns taking potentially a high quarterback pick next year?
Like I said, my wish list is to get Kirk Cousins. He is definitely number 1 on my wish list. Okay. I'm hoping he doesn't get the franchise tag for a 3rd year in Washington. And if he sees what we can do and actually win 5 or 6 games, and he'll come in, actually thinking he can put us over the top and actually make us a playoff team again.
Okay. We'll start to take a look at the schedule here, and again, let's not beat around the bush here. They're not going to win too many games this year, but you take a look at some of the.
Why just kick him when he's down?
This is nothing he doesn't already know. He's a Browns fan. He knows about his team. As far as some games that I think are winnable, I think everyone in America is going to be watching that Week 5 game against the Jets, because I think the loser of that game gets the number 1 overall pick. What are your thoughts about that?
We're definitely going to be on the run for the number 1 pick once again. But I think the Jets are going to beat us out on that one.
The way things are going.
There's 6,000 tickets. Yeah. There's 6,000 tickets available for that game. How is there not 60,000 tickets ready for that game? That game might be brutal. Anyway, I always look at the murderer's row that I do, and like Brian said, it's kind of difficult to do that with a Cleveland team that's still, like you said, Michael, growing pains. But you talk about the last 4 games of the season, even the last 5 games of the season, actually 6 games of the season. You talk about at Cincinnati, at the Chargers, home for Green Bay, home for Baltimore, at Chicago, and then at Pittsburgh. I mean, you're looking at a stretch there alone where they could be 1-5. How do you push this ship forward, Michael? I mean, we've talked about it before about this team, that you have to get, even though you're the worst team in the league and you get the 1st or 2nd overall pick, it needs to happen with the picks down the road. You need to have third, fourth, and fifth round picks work out for this team. How do you see this team moving in the right direction?
Hopefully we start hitting on some of these draft picks. With 3 first-rounders this year, 2 next year, I'm hoping the tight end actually can make some plays right out of Miami there, Njoku. And then, we got the strong safety, we got the defensive end. Our offensive line is stacked right now. So I think, like I said, if we get a quarterback, I think we can actually surprise people and be a decent team.
I keep a look at the schedule. The game I'm looking forward to the most on the Browns schedule is December 3rd, when they're going to be like Vince. You ever see Vince McMahon do that walk with the bravado? They're going to roll into the Chargers and be like, "We beat you guys last year, huh?"
You just gotta hope they're ready for the season, because Saturday, August 26th, they play preseason. They play the Bucs. So I mean, hopefully they're ready for the season. So anyway,
I'm excited to see what Greg Williams brings to the table too. The defense coordinator. He came over from the Rams. He's the one that had the bounty team. So he gets his defenses playing good. Pretty much everywhere he goes, he turns those defenses around pretty quickly. So I'm excited.
I will say this, in my humble opinion, I think the future is bright in Cleveland. I know it sometimes doesn't always feel that way, but I think they're doing some of the right things. I think if they stay on track, if they kind of let a coaching staff really, play out, I think we're not that long away from seeing the Browns be an average team.
Yeah, I think another 2-3 years and we'll actually be in contention for playoff spots.
Mike, you didn't see that, but Galetta just tried to check my forehead for a temperature.
Michael, I hope for your sake in 2019 we're not saying the exact same thing. In 2 or 3 years, I got to be ready for it. So we will see. Hopefully, this Cleveland team is headed in the right direction for your sake, Michael.
I hope so too, because it's been 14 years since we've been in the playoffs. So it's been a long wait.
Only 14 feels like 40. But anyway. We will see. We will see. So that's all the time we have for this edition of the Cleveland Browns preview. We want to thank our friend and Cleveland Browns affiliate, Michael Henshaw, for getting online. Michael, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good sport. He's a fan enough to know that his team's not going anywhere this year, and that's okay.
Unlike the Bucs. Anyway, Thank you for watching. You can always get us on social media if you need to.
If you want to hear Mike continue to slob over for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, make sure you're following us on Twitter and Facebook at SportsBox Show, and of course our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe there as well, because as you know, we are previewing all 32 teams in the NFL, getting you ready for a great NFL season in 2017. Make sure that you don't miss a preview of your favorite team.
If you don't want to slob over me and the Bucs, I'm a damn good-looking guy. So anyway, at the Sports Box, the only opinion that matters is still right here. Thanks for watching. See you.
This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velarde. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box.
1, 2, 3.
Don't forget to subscribe.